We're going to look at lesson 3 of the survival unit that deals with the seventh man. There are 3 parts of the survival unit. There are 3 parts of lesson 3. 3.1 Concept, Vocabulary, and Word Study, 3.2 Analyze Craft and Structure, and 3.3 Conventions. Let's look at the word study. Desperate, entranced, hallucination, premonition, profound, meditative. Directions. In each of the following items, think about the meaning of the italicized word or phrase and then answer the question. Number 1, would someone have a premonition before or after an event takes place? Explain. Now, I can do it the old way and go and look up the word premonition on merriam-webster.com or dictionary.com. Or I can go back to the book and look at the words that surround the word premonition and see if I know what the word premonition is just by looking at the words that surround premonition. So, despite all these precautions, I couldn't get rid of the image of myself drowning. Like Kay's cold hand, this dark premonition caught hold of my mind and refused to let go. So, I think that premonition means a hunch something will happen, a hunch something bad will happen in the future. Let's see if I'm correct. Okay, feeling that something bad will happen, that's the correct answer. So I will go back to number 1 and I will put in my answer. Okay, so the answer is before. The prefix pre means before. So a premonition comes before that something happens. So I want you to answer 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For A, your answer does not need to be in complete sentences. Let's go move on to B, word study. The suffix tion means the act of. Rewrite each sentence. Use the underlined word plus the suffix tion in the new sentence. So I couldn't concentrate on my homework because my brother was talking on the phone. Okay, so I have to change the word concentrate to concentration. But, and the sentence has to mean exactly the same. Okay, so my brother talking interrupted my concentration. Okay, that's relatively easy. Okay, so number 2, number 3, and number 4 must all be complete sentences. Okay, let's move on to analyze craft and structure. Okay, analyze craft and structure deals with the order of events. Okay, so authors use the structure of a story to move the story along, explain the order of events, and provide suspense, tension, or mystery. Understanding the structure of a story helps the reader understand the story. An author can use parallel plots to tell different parts of a story, use flashbacks to manipulate time and explain events that happened before the story starts. Some authors vary the pace of a story to create a sense of time or create tension. Hakurui, please forgive me for mispronouncing his name, Murakami uses the structure of a framed story to explain the order of events in The Seventh Man. A framed story is a story in which one or more of the stories unfold. The framed story usually introduces a set of characters in a particular situation that prompts one or more of these characters to tell a story within the story. In The Seventh Man, the author uses a third person narrator or voice outside of the story to create a setting in which people have been telling each other stories. Then the author switches to a first person narrator when the seventh man tells the story. Let's look at the this section. Directions. Answer these questions about the seventh man. Use textual evidence to support your responses. Reread paragraphs 1 through 8 and 63 to 65 of The Seventh Man. So let's look at the first question. What is the interior story of The Seventh Man? At what point in The Seventh Man does the frame story begin and end, and what aspects of the text change to indicate these shifts? Okay, so we're going to go back to the textbook. And what I did this time is anything having to do with analyzing craft and structure, I decided to circle it in green. Okay, so let's look at the interior story. The interior story begins in paragraph 9 and ends with paragraph 63. After paragraph 8, the narrator changes from the third person to the first person. The quotation marks around the words spoken by the seventh man are dropped from the he to first person in the ninth paragraph. Okay. Now, the story of this typhoon is the interior story, beginning with it happened one September afternoon when I was 10 years old. Okay. And everything that mattered most to me swept it off to another world. Okay. That is his interior story. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Let's look at other parts of this assignment: mood. Okay. First thing we need to understand is this: mood is different from tone. Mood is our attitude towards the subject. Okay. So look at the question: what changes between the telling of the frame story and the interior story? Well, the calm mood of the frame story contrasts with the intense mood of the seventh man story. Okay. All right. Let's move on to number 5. Number 5. Record in the chart details from the frame story that describes the seventh man, and what do these details tell you about the seventh man's character? So I go back to the book and I look at what the third person narration says about the third man. And it says that he is almost whispering, and his words were lost in silence. Okay. So that makes me think that his speaking style is almost whispering and his words get lost in silence. Okay. So now we're going to move on to conventions. Okay. Infinitives and infinitive phrases. An infinitive is a verbal or a verb used as a noun, adjective, or adverb. Infinitive phrases are infinitives with modifiers or complements. Most infinitives and infinitive phrases are preceded by the word to. Note, a prepositional phrase ends with a noun or a pronoun. An infinitive always ends with a verb. Students, I am not about to discuss noun, adjective, or adverb with you. I will lead you to Schoolhouse Rock. Okay? Infinitive, used as a noun. To excel requires effort. The infinitive here is used as a noun. To succeed requires dedication. To succeed functions as the subject of the sentence, uses an infinitive phrase, used as a noun. We chose to take the footpath, functions as the direct object of the verb choose. Used as an adjective, I have a task to complete after class. Infinitive phrase used as an adjective. You need an invitation to attend. The infinitive is used as an adverb. Used as an adjective, Dana's desire to do well made Mama proud. Tells which desire. Used as an adverb. When Derek sat down to study, he concentrated. Tells why Derek sat down. Used as a prepositional phrase. We drove to the pier, prepositional phrase. And I'm very sorry that I messed up here. This goes down here, so I'm very sorry that mistake was made. Okay, directions. Underline the infinitive or infinitive phrase in each sentence from the passage. Be sure to include all modifiers or complements. So let's look at question number 1. To do seascapes is an infinitive phrase used as a noun or a direct object. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Let's continue to B. Underline the infinitive or infinitive phrase in each sentence from the passage. Be sure to include all modifiers or complements. Then identify whether the infinitive or infinitive phrase functions as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. Let's look at number 1. The wind had stopped and the rain had ceased to fall. Okay, to fall is the infinitive. And why is it an adverb? Well, an adverb tells why. Okay. All right. So I want you to complete 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3 and turn in those assignments, once you have finished all of them, please email me at tcollins@ebrschools.org, send me a message in GoGuardian, or speak aloud in class. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.